Hey y'all, welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. If you are new here, I'm Riot. And every week I go over, well, every other week, I go over things that my brain personally has been hyperfixated on in terms of relevancy. And I do so because I thought it would be fun to track my interests over time as someone who is very much ADHD with things, not just ADHD, ADHD. So I thought that'd be whimsical and fun, and that's why we've been here for almost 2 years at this point. So it's fun every week. So a couple things to talk about, and these are kind of all over the place because I do have something that's like concurrently taking up a lot of my time, and therefore I'm focusing a lot on that. But still got some things to talk about, as always. First of all, I won't get to talk about it on the week that it comes out, but the second season of X-Men 97 is coming out next week. Well, a week from today, so that would actually be the third. Hold on. How many days does this month have? It comes out on the 1st of July. So that is very exciting. I'm a big X-Men fan. My favorite characters are probably Nightcrawler. For sure. Nightcrawler's a big favorite. Nightcrawler's a big favorite. And then I'd say also Rogue, probably. But specifically I like X-Men 97 version of Rogue a lot. Which is different than some adaptations. Anyway, I'm very excited about that. As of recording, Deltarune Chapter 5 came out today. Am I a little bit scared for characters I like? Yes. Tobias Fox, what are you doing? But I'm mostly excited for the soundtrack. I'm very, very excited about that. But I am going to watch a playthrough before I even touch the soundtrack, dog. I don't want to spoil myself like that. But I wanted to touch upon that because I likely will be talking about it on the next episode, because by then it will have been 2 weeks since it came out. And I will give y'all indications for like if I talk about spoilers when I get to talk about the actual content of chapter 5. But I'm very excited about it. Twitter's been a scene today about it. And I'm almost scared to open Tumblr. my beloved Tumblr, I'm scared to open the I'll probably edit my hidden tags on Tumblr after recording. Oh man, okay. These are things that I don't really fixate on, but I thought were worthy enough of bringing up. The World Cup is happening. I'm sure you're all privy to big soccer tournament, big football tournament. But what I thought was very interesting is when teams were starting to fly in, the professional soccer teams were starting to fly into the States because it's being held in the States. There's some matches that I'm pretty sure are happening in Seattle, some are in New York, all kinds of places. They had trouble coming into the country to be able to play soccer, to the point in which at least one of the teams was apparently told by the United States Border Patrol that like they can't be in the States unless they're playing a game, which like how sorry, your country the United States, agreed to host this. That means you need to be showing hospitality to these people. Hello. Anyway, actually crazy. And then on that note, actually, apparently the current leader decided that he wanted to renovate the reflecting pool, which is that big body of water in front of in DC. And apparently the renovation, he wanted the bottom of it painted American flag blue. Cool. And then proceeded to spend so much money on a renovation that is not sticking and is peeling. And because it is peeling and because there are algae problems, that's then killing the wildlife that interact with that body of water. There's just so much happening where it's like, why did you even let him do that? I'm sure if you looked at him and said, yeah, we did that, and then walked him out there, I don't think he would have noticed that you didn't do anything. Anyway, I just wanted to touch upon that because that happening at the same time as all this World Cup stuff is really funny to me. Also, side note, I don't terribly care about soccer. However, I will agree to say go Scotland. Because I think it's great that Scotland seems to be doing well. As far as I can tell, they seem to be doing well. But yeah. Let's see. What else do I got? Oh, I am not a love and deep space enjoyer. I don't participate in this on any level, really. But I did see a lot of tweets past week or so, maybe, complaining about the character design because apparently they added a new guy or whatever. And as far as I'm aware, it's basically like, oh, what was that one game? There's been like apps before where it's like you're messaging an anime boy and it's like basically like a visual novel with like choices you can make, kind of. So Love and Deep Space is kind of like that, but they're animated, so like there's little videos and stuff. And I do know some about it because a YouTuber I watch on occasion is super into it, so sometimes she'll bring it up. But they added this new guy who, by the way, y'all, I don't remember the guy's name. Let me see if I have it, like a screenshot of it or anything. Oh, here he is, Valko. And funny thing about this Valko guy they made is that he has 2 pairs of ears because they gave him ears up here and then they also gave him human ears. He didn't need those at all. And if you really wanted them there, you could have at least given him like longer hair that covers the real ears. You know what I mean? Like, why are you've generated several implications by giving this man 4 ears. Who designed this? I just want to talk about what you did. Honestly, it's not, I think it's really funny because I already like, and my whole life, especially when that, and I can't for the life of me think of what it was called, but there was, oh, I just remembered what it's called. It was, there was one, I don't know if it's still, I don't think it still exists, but there was one when I was in like middle school, maybe, maybe earlier than that was called Mystic Messenger. It's kind of like that from what I can tell. It's the same goal basically of like getting people to use it. They use the same goal. But I think it's really funny because I already didn't like Mystic Messenger. Okay, I already did not like Mystic Messenger as a concept because I was like, I'm generally uncomfortable with the idea of people saying that they're dating something that inherently cannot feel, you know? Which is funny because some of my favorite characters are robots, but also you can't date something that's not real, dude. But Love and Deep Space, the reason I've never touched it or gotten into it is because it has that exact same vibe to me. Like when I first heard about it, I was like, oh great, another one, basically. They're kind of going crazy with it from what I can tell. But I think things like that are much more popular in like they're super popular in Japan, but I'm sure in general in Asian countries that kind of thing might be more popular. I have no idea. I'm white. You know what I mean? But I just think it's really funny that for a game that appears to be of at least like visual quality, like everything's rendered really well and any pictures I see are very well done. It's really funny for them to make such a design choice that feels like a mistake, and a pretty big one. I just think it's really funny. Let's see what else. Oh my goodness. So a little bit of Hope Core for y'all. I recommend if you haven't seen them already. In terms of basketball, they had the NBA Finals, Championship, whatever. I can't remember what the word they use is, but the New York Knicks won, and they had not won for, I believe, 53 years was the official count. So it was a very big deal for New York. And genuinely, if you're feeling down about how people on the internet seem to like be at each other's throats all the time and how it makes it feel like humanity is a little bit bleak, I recommend looking up clips, videos, pictures of New Yorkers when the Knicks won, because that shit is heartwarming. I'm sure my lovely editor will put up some pictures as I'm talking about it, but genuinely just seeing a whole city have a moment of camaraderie, especially such a huge city with such a high population, seeing that open, flooding the streets, like excitement and camaraderie is just beautiful to see, especially when it feels like everything is trying to isolate us from each other. It's really beautiful and I love it a lot. Okay, the two other things I have to talk to y'all about, one of them is the reason for which it's been hard to pay attention to anything else. I've mentioned it the past couple of episodes, but I'm participating in a Minecraft SMP, which is fun. It gives me an opportunity to work on improv and acting with new faces, basically. And it's really fun. Especially like the concept we're working with and the wide range of characters in the cast, basically, are really good. But as you can imagine, something with that many people where in order to progress story stuff, you have to be on. It's been taking up a lot of my time. Genuinely, tomorrow, I have a thing for it that like, it's not like you have to be there because some people have work, but it's if you're available, please be there. And I'm available, so I must be there. Because I want to make sure that they have enough people coming to these events, because this is basically a theatrical space that I've signed up for. I want there to be enough actors for the audience, so to speak. So that's important to me, but it's been taking up a lot of my time. Speaking of things I'm doing with my time, this is way more fun, and I literally just started this today. the theater I participate in, the community theater, sorry, that I participate in, is having a script writing workshop, very loosey-goosey with like structure in terms of like, it's not like we have detailed itineraries of what to do, you know, which is really nice. It's almost like the person in charge has ADD and I, an ADHD person, am like, yeah, I get it. But it's very fun. I signed up because I've never tried script writing specifically for theater. I did have to do a little bit of script writing in video related, like filming classes that I've taken before, which is different because you're also having to write stage directions so that the director knows what needs to be there and props and stuff like that. And I've been doing theater since I was a little kid. So I was like, even if I don't end up like script writing, I should try it. There's no reason for me not to. The workshop is not something I had to even pay for, which is super nice. But it's very fun. Most people seem to be writing their own creative thought processes type of things. One woman is writing a play based off who wants to write a script based off of a book that does not have a play format. And another project that was discussed between the person in charge and actually another person at the table is that there are so many versions of Alice in Wonderland as a play because it's in the public domain. However, some of them don't have Alice falling down the rabbit hole in them at all. Some of them gloss over the tea party, which are things that one of the two people involved in that project, the reason she wants to get a new script written for it is because she wants to direct it, but she hasn't found a single script that she likes. And she's read at least a dozen Alice in Wonderland scripts, and too many, they all cut out something that she thinks is important in favor of, excuse me, pushing like whatever the scenes around that point would be. And a big thing we talked about is actually that you have to assume in script writing that your audience is stupid. And that sounds mean, but what it means is that you cannot trust that your audience will always understand what's going on. So you have to keep that in mind and act like they have zero idea what's going on. And you have to write clear enough that they can understand it. Because you can't guarantee that everyone will understand. And you know, even if you write like that, there's totally still going to be people who don't get it. And that's fine. But you want the number of people who don't get it to not be the whole audience, basically. That's really important. So, I thought that was a really good thing to establish, is that you have to remember that you can't over-explain things, like how Netflix will rehash exposition in a movie 4 times, even though you don't need to. But also, you can't just assume they know everything. You know what I mean? So that's really interesting. What I want to do is make my own adaptation of Medea by Euripides. It is a Greek tragedy, as I said, written by Euripides. And there aren't, because it's one of his few surviving plays, and because we can translate it, not many people rehash it because there's already a script. First of all, it opens with a monologue from one of Medea's nurses, I think. And it is so long, so long. There are no stage directions. There is simply a thing at the top that says, this is where they are. And that's all it says. That's all it says. So that's super whimsical and fun. I'd like to make it a little more usable for people. Also, because I'm not 100% sure if script writing is for me, I think that choosing to make an adaptation of something as my first attempt will be more useful because, first of all, I'm more worried about getting the formatting and the parameters and the making it more applicable to, you know, different stage types and things like that. That I think that if I end up liking script writing, then I can tackle putting my own creative ideas into it. But I'd like to go off something that already exists because I'm not sure how much I will be into script writing. Hell, I don't even know if I'll end up finishing it, mostly because I have ADHD. But either way, I don't know how confident I am in my script writing abilities to go out the gate with nothing to go off of. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I've been in plays, I have a bunch of scripts, but that's not the same thing, really. As like, sure, I know how theater works, but I would like to have a guideline starting out because I'm new to this. I haven't done this before. So, that's very fun. I have, from the Internet Archive, I have a full PDF of Medea. I do, in theory, want to get a physical copy of it just so I can annotate it. Which I don't like doing in normal books. I don't like highlighting or even so much as penciling. But I would specifically for a play, I feel a little less bad about it because when you're in a play, you highlight your script or you underline, you pencil in your notes and all that. Depending on whether or not you're allowed to make any permanent marks to a script. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Excuse me, but I'm very excited about it. Apparently, the whole purpose of the workshop was that the woman running it was like, I want to get this script writing done, and because of my ADD and my unstructured time, I don't know if I can do it without structured time and other people who are aware I'm doing it. You know, people to kind of keep track with you. So I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited to study a play that I don't think I have. Hold on, I might have it. 1 second. 1 moment, please. Guys, I've got great news. I didn't even know I had it, but I looked over at my shelf because I have other plays on there. I have Virgil's The Aeneid. I have Greek lyric poetry. Like, I have a bunch of books like that. And then I have this book that says Complete Greek Tragedies. Hey, you know what's a Greek tragedy? And I look closer at the spine and it does say Euripides on it. And I open it. And thank God the second one in here says the Medea. So I actually have a physical copy of it, which I'm super stoked about. It also has Aclestis, the Heraclidae, Hippolytus, the Cyclops, Heracles, and Iphigenia in Taurus. I didn't know I had this. I didn't know I had Medea already. I was like, man, I gotta get a hold of a copy of that. I have it. I already have it. I'm so obsessed with ancient Greek culture and literature and history that I already own it. Anyway, That is very exciting. Okay, perfect. Anyway, as you can tell, I am super stoked about it. Especially since the reason I chose Medea, I almost chose the Aeneid, which I do also have. But the Aeneid I don't think is a play. It's prose, but I don't think it's a play. It's a poem technically. But the reason I was between those two in general is because I would want to, my base for what I'm working on, I want it to be something that I can reliably fixate on, because then if I choose something like that, it'll be harder for me to stop doing it. So I was like, obviously I need to choose something very old for me to be super stoked about it. Man, I didn't know I had a copy of both of them. That's crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all because it's really fun. Honestly, hey, listen, I recommend, first of all, I'm big on having a yearn to learn, big on learning. You should never stop learning things. You should learn something new every day, preferably. Because first of all, no harm in it. Second of all, it shows others that like listen, you're an information sponge and that's good. So really excited about that actually. Man, I didn't know I had a copy of that. Yes. Okay. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the pyramid for this week. If you're new here, every week I make a little, basically Abby Lee style Dance Moms pyramid, but of characters or real people and how relevant they are in my mind, with any given week. Excuse me, but, since its release date, a lot of the pyramid has featured at least some characters from Tomodachi Life, the video game. Tomodachi Life Live in the Dream, specifically, the new Nintendo Switch one. And this week, it's mostly characters from that, except for the top two. So let's go ahead and jump into the pyramid. First up on the pyramid this week is Jevil. Yes, with a J, who is from Undertale, but I'm specifically talking about the Tomodachi Life me that someone in my household made of him. He's very cute, and he is always a delight on the island. Just, first of all, his voice is very cute, but also I love when a character will do something, and because it's Tomodachi Life, where a lot of all the cutscenes are pre-generated, and any me can get any of them. I love when something happens that's like definitely out of character for a me, and that seems to happen to Jevil a lot, which is really cute, and it makes him more endearing. Than I guess regular Jevil you would think to be, like, way more endearing than that. So that's why Jevil's on the pyramid. He's also, I was debating between him and another me, and I decided to put him on because of Deltarune Chapter 5 releasing this week. Even though he's not in Deltarune, but I digress. Next up on the pyramid is actually the Tomodachi Life child of two other me's. One of them is of my best friend. And the kiddo's name is Sage. They got mostly traits that the me of my best friend has. And everyone in that household has a very somewhere between punk, goth, and alt aesthetic, depending on like which clothes they're wearing at what time. So I kind of diverted her a little bit into more of like like a witchy kind of alternative. Because I thought it'd be funny for one person out of the family of 4 to be very distinctly different than the others. And also shout out to this me for not having any like huge issues with anyone. Every other me in that household has had some sort of fight with someone, and she's like the golden child right now, and it's so funny to me. So that's why Sage is on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is one of my newer me's that I made. And she is my favorite DC character. Thank you for asking. Don't know how you could tell. Looks at my red hair in the monitor. But next up on the pyramid is my Tomodachi Life me of Poison Ivy. Not a huge amount of like interaction and stuff like from her because that's how new the me is. And she's on 2 of my islands. But I feel like I did a good job with like the parameters of Tomodachi Life. I knew I wanted to go in a direction where she was green. Mostly because there's not a lot of variation like outside of human skin tones. There's a couple me's that I have that's another person in my household made that are from the anime Land of the Lustrous. Those are like basically the non-human skin tones that I've had, which are basically just white and very pale pink. And then I have one alien that's gray. In terms of human skin tones, I have a lot better of a range, but it's the more unique skin tones that I'm really like genuinely like, why are you blue? Like, I don't have anyone that's blue, anything like that. I do have Jevil, who's also gray, but he's not on every island. But that's why I went for a design that looks more like the Harley Quinn animated show, Poison Ivy, which I've never seen ever, but I do know what she looks like in that show. I went a little bit closer, I feel, to that design, but I made her probably less cynical and stuff like that, because the one clip I've seen of her from that show is like iffy on like, she seems really like cynical, like over it kind of vibe. And Tomodachi Life doesn't have a lot of room for that kind of stuff. So, but I really like how she turned out. So that's why she's on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid, and this is the last Tomodachi Life Living the Dream character on the pyramid for this week. She is completely made from my own imagination. Because I wanted a woman on the island, on Yuri Island specifically. So women and non-binary people, I guess functionally lesbian, anything that counts as Yuri is on there. But I really wanted to I have that alien character that I mentioned that's based off of the YouTuber GH Coffee's original alien in the original Tomodachi Life game. And her name is Rachel, which is spelled GLORPX combined A and E, bunch of numbers, exclamation point, question mark, or whatever. But it's pronounced Rachel. I made her look like the old Rachel. GH Coffee has redesigned her completely, so my Rachel no longer looks like that Rachel. But I, in the same way that the very same YouTuber GH Coffee had Agent 47, which was supposed to be an FBI agent that's trying to investigate for like extraterrestrial activity and is not good at the job. I was like, I should have someone who's like FBI related on my island, but I want to super stray from what JH Coffee is doing this time. So I made, and I did totally get her name from the Carmen Sandiego game. Don't know. I honestly don't know how many people are familiar with that board game at this point, but the Carmen Sandiego game. Her name is I Need a Clue. And by me saying it out loud, I'm sure you can see the joke, the jest there. Honestly, that'd also be a really good drag name if anyone wants to take that. But her name's I Need a Clue. I didn't have a lot of characters with a blue motif on that island, so she's kind of carrying that like nice muted blue color. I love her. She also vaguely looks like Gomez Adams to me, and I thought that was really funny. But I'm very proud of her because I have very few Miis on that island specifically that are completely original characters. I do have a third island that has way more original characters because it has OCs of mine on it, but I'm a big fan of I Need a Clue. She's great. She's very new to the island, but her one and only friend is Rachel, which is pretty funny. And I wanted to include her on here because honestly, that's probably the Tomodachi Life me that I'm the most proud of. Which, yeah, in retrospect, that's silly, but like also, I did really good with that one. Moving away from Tomodachi Life, next up on the pyramid is Nightcrawler. I'm very excited for X-Men 97 Season 2, and my favorite character is Kurt Wagner, so I'm very excited to see more of him. Also very excited for him in the show because when a show gets a new season or whatever, there is an influx of fan art and things like that, content about that character. And I am very excited because, like, he's not like the least loved X-Men or anything. Certainly not. He's quite popular. But in some fandom spaces, like, there's only so much content to go through, and then I crunched it all. So I ate it. So need more to, I'm excited to have more stuff of my favorite character to consume. So I'm very excited about that. And then that's why Kurt's on the pyramid, Nightcrawler. And then last up on the pyramid is Susie from Undertale. A lot of people are fearing for that girly. And again, I haven't seen any spoilers or anything. So that doesn't mean I don't fear what might happen with Susie. Because it feels like there's a sword of Damocles and that rope doesn't look super secure, you know? So that's fun. But also, I just really, out of the main four, Susie's really the only thing that's even remotely, I guess, like me in any way. But, and I say that pretty loosely, but basically out of any of those four main characters, it really feels like the one that's the most relatable to me is Susie. And I guess more accurately, Susie's more like high school me. Because none of the characters are really that like me now, obviously, because I'm 25. But I really enjoy Susie as a character, and I'm excited and fearful to see what Chapter 5 holds for her. So that's why Susie is top of the pyramid this week. I hope y'all had a good time. I know I did. I'm very excited to be back. I did have to take a week off, basically. But it ended up working out because with where filming moved to, I'm going to be gone for like a week in July, and this like perfectly slots it so I don't miss anything. I don't think. I may have to count again. However, I don't know. I'm excited. So I'll leave y'all with that for today. Have a good one, y'all. Have a good next couple weeks. I'll see you same time, same place in 2 weeks. I hope y'all had a good time, honestly. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff really helps the channel, because still a very young channel in terms of like reach and stuff. So I thank y'all for being here, and I'll see y'all then. Have a good one, y'all.